So, if you experience a problem with a misalignment mismatch with objects using an array modifier to follow the curve, like in my pipe example here, you can see the curve is much longer and the objects do not follow it until the endpoint of the curve. This is the endpoint of the curve in here, not this, not that, this one here. So, and the easiest way to fix that, I'm gonna just, pay attention. Select everything, including the curve, everything which is connected to the curve, and then you're gonna press Control A and say apply scale, but do not confirm that with the left mouse button. Instead of that, go over to the left hand corner down below. There is a little window called apply object transform. Open this one and deselect, if this is if you have this option, deselect apply properties to, and then it will not be stretched. Why this is happening? It has something to do with the object properties, I believe. I am not sure about that. So curves are also, I'm not an expert on curves. I'm using them once in a while. But why this is happening, I can show you this in a different environment. So we're going to reconstruct the same principle, like the pipe system, with a simple cube, so you understand, or I can show it better like that. Okay, let's do that quickly. I'm not going to explain every little step, but you will be able to follow. So first of all, we have only the cube, new environment. We have a cube. We turn on X-ray so that we can see the curve which we add now. Press Shift A, add a curve. We're going to choose the Bezier curve, whatever this, I'm not sure if I pronounce it correctly. Bezier curve, and it's here, and we're gonna apply left click, and now we're gonna select the curve here again, press N to open this transform window, and we will increase the size of it. Press S, scale this up to whatever, doesn't really matter, but let's choose a clean number. Let's choose 30 meter, I believe that is, or the value is 30. So scale has changed. So we scaled the curve in the object mode, right? And when we scale things in the object mode, we learned in Blender that we have to always apply the scale after doing that. You don't have to do this when you change the curve in the edit mode. That's for sure. So I'm gonna duplicate this guy for later. We ignore that for now. So I can show you the difference. So I'm going to show you the way not to do it. So when you have the curve here, you want to say, okay, I changed the scale of the curve in the object mode. So now I need to apply everything. So you would say, okay, press Control A and say apply the scale, and then left click. Again, this is the wrong way to do it, but now you can see what is actually happening. When we select the cube now and we go over to add modifier, like so, and then so select the cube, go over to add modifier, and then we look for the curve. We type in and we press on search and type in curve. Look for the curve, here it is, and now we select our curve, which is we can pick with the symbol the curve simply. That's the safest way. And you see already there's something off. It follows the curve, so that would work. But our cube got weirdly stretched and everything is weird. So let's disable that. Let's turn this, just disabling it, and I'm gonna turn this off. I'm gonna delete the curve and get our original curve back, which is changed in the scale is changed still in the object mode, and we did not apply the scale yet. So basically, or let's do this again just to make sure you can follow. When you add the curve, do it in this way. Shift A, then go to the curve, choose this one, a Bezier or whatever curve you prefer, and then S, make it bigger to 30 again. Let's choose 30 again. So we change the scale, and now we have to apply the curve, the scale of the curve in the right way. So we say Control A again, apply scale, do not confirm with the left mouse button, go over to the left hand corner, go to apply object transform, disable apply properties. So this is a new thing to me since yesterday. I've learned that because who cares? But I know this is a thing for curves, at least something I need to keep in mind as well. And now let's do the same thing. We select the curve here again, and we enable the modifier, and now everything is fine. So this thing is now following properly, and it also will be following when we add the array modifier. It will. You'll see it. Okay, add a modifier, another one, generate array modifier, and we say now instead of a count, how many cube duplicates we want to have, we change the fit type to curve, and we have to select the curve here again. And now it will fit the length of the curve. It doesn't follow the curve, because for that we have to put this guy here on top of it. So this array first, then curve, and now it's following the curve. And the endpoint is the endpoint here. So keep that in mind. That this is the important thing. When it comes to curve, make sure. I think so far I tested it a little bit. Again, I'm not an expert on curves, but so far I can tell if you apply scale for curves, this one matters. For objects, I could not really see a change, so it didn't really matter so much. But at least for curve, if you change the size in the object mode, this matters. It's an option you need to consider. Another thing you need to consider is, for example, if you make this. Let's say you have a nice curve setup, everything is being done nice and well, and then you change maybe the scale here of the cube. I'm going to show it in a better way. In the object mode again, maybe like approximately half size or exactly half. So now it's half size, but we didn't apply. Let's say we forgot about that, So it's like that right now. And then we have, for example, we want to make connect everything to an empty, as I did. Like so, I added here an empty. And now I say, okay, everything should follow the empty. This is one way to do it. Lots of ways to do the same thing. Then this works. However, if we change now the scale, you see the whole thing is not as it doesn't respond in the right way. So meaning there's always a mismatch when it comes to the length of the object and the length of the curve. And the way to fix that is then again apply. In this case, just apply this guy. Should be enough. We need to apply the scale. So Control A, apply scale, and it doesn't matter in this case. See, there is no change. So I don't know why that is. I just know it's a thing. When it comes to curve, this thing matters, whatever it is. Now you can basically work a little bit better. So if you want to connect things too, what you also can do, if let's say you have to also make sure that, for example, I want to just point that out before I leave this and continue working on other things. So what is important is basically we see, so right now when I had this cube, we see this is the yellow dot here in the middle of the center of the world. This is the origin point right now of the curve. And when I bring the cube back and hide the thing, this is also the center point. The origin point is in the middle of the cube. This is important. So if there's a mismatch, if this guy would be, if you change the origin point from the cube, which should follow the curve, then it's going to be offset like that. So this doesn't work. So what you should keep in mind is check the origin points. This is also important. This is one of the simple thing, but if you need to blender, this happens. It just happens. Nothing you can do about that. At some point when it comes to Blender, you will make a mistake like that. Okay. So then again, I forgot to show you how to fix that. So if this origin point is off, you see there's a mismatch. When I hold down Alt and G to reset its position here, it will always go to this position. It will not jump into the center anymore, because this yellow dot has to be in the center. So the way to fix that would be just right click on the cube, say set origin, and then you would choose origin to geometry. That means your object is the geometry. So, and then you see you can now reset the location points to 0. Alternatively, you can press Alt and G. It also resets that. If Alt and G doesn't work, there is probably something going on with shortcuts you have, either in Linux Mint, which is new to me and I figured this out, or check NVIDIA overlay or any kind of overlay you're using. Anyway, so this is one of the things. Another alternative is, so what you would like to have is when you want to change the position, you want to basically, yeah, it would be nice if when we move the curve that the object will follow. One way is to do it is just select both, cube first and then curve secondly, and press Control P and then set parent. You would connect them together. But there is also another thing which is called constraints. And if you think this is overwhelming you, then ignore that. Don't use it. Use the other method I just showed with connection, with Control P and connect. That's fine. I've done this like at the beginning, always like that. But there are constraints which were very confusing to me until I figured out what they actually are. They are kind of like still modifiers in a different way. They are different kind of modifiers. They can change their locations, so you can make more stuff with that. So when we go to the constraints, we could add constraints / modifier if you want, and we say copy location, and then we would pick copy location of the curve. So oh nonsense, I did this the vice versa. This is vice versa. This is the wrong way. I had the curve selected. Select the cube, and the cube. Select the cube. Go to constraints. Add a new constraint. Say copy location. Copy location. Please select this picking tool or choose it in the list here. Pick the curve, and that's about it. So now when we move the curve, it also follows. It works perfectly fine, only for the location, not for the rotation. So this is, this is helpful. If you want to have the rotation as well, you go to rotation and you have copy scale. Also works. You experiment with those features, or use the child of, which is, yeah, you have to experiment with that. I know, I want to cover that one thing. And show you there are multiple options to fix certain things. So let's summarize the most important thing. The most important thing I would just say from all the babbling, explaining stuff is just when you change the scale of the curve in the object mode, not in the editing mode, in the object mode, and you apply this scale for curves, check out Control A scale, this apply properties, see what happens if you deselect that. And I think that's about it. That should cover everything. Yeah. Okay. Bye bye.